opportunity has arisen to be mistress of the King of England. Tonight.
So this is where the King of England sleeps. I didn't betray you, you do know that.
Well, I didn't know anything before I read the script beyond the fact that Anne Boleyn was one of Henry VIII's wives and that she was beheaded. And so I really learned so much through the research for the movie, which is so exciting. And obviously Philippa Gregory's novel is an imagination of sort of the details with the sort of timeline being accurate, but all the juicy gossip of the story is more imagined. But it was very exciting to see how this woman and this untold story also of the famous woman's sister, Mary, that both of them had these complicated and very influential impact on the king, and that this very personal story could impact an entire country for centuries after.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, I tried to find information about her, but it was other than just factual information about, land ownership and husbands and children, and, obviously that she had one child and possibly two children by Henry VIII. I couldn't find anything, so I just used the novel as my reference.
How was he with you? He was tender. Try to please him. If you can.
And what would you know of great men?
I'd know one, if he were before me.
Do you see one here?
Looking, my lord. Ah, there. Found one.
I find you much changed, Mistress Anne.
Well, we had a historical advisor who would explain to us, how deep to curtsy to the king and that kind of detail that you couldn't glean from, reading materials. But there was also a lot of, helpful information in those, like that they might pinch their cheeks or something to make them look healthier, or things like,
And it's nice, I think, for the audience just to be able to escape into this period. I think Justin, our director, did such a great job of kind of modernizing this period instead of it being one of these kind of like Men in Tights type of thing where the audience feels so removed from the film because of the costumes and these huge sets, and it's a very sort of, the characters are quite modern and the story is kind of this soap operatic.
Right, and the pace of the film is very modern. And
what about the costumes? They're beautifully evocative of the time. Were they fun to wear, or was it a
hilarious
process?
There's nothing better than getting strapped into a corset at 6 a.m. It was, after lunch, it was a bit of a...
We learned to portion.
A lot of small portions.
Because when you do the fittings, you think it's so nice to have such a little
You look
waist,
so glamorous. You're like,
wow.
make it smaller.
And then you have to eat while you're working and keep your energy up. And you
I remember the first week, I'd be like, did you try that pie, that pudding that they had afterward? Wow, that was delicious, but I feel like I'm eating it again. It was rough.
Did you have to ease off the cheese? You're apparently a cheese fanatic.
I do love cheese, but that's unfortunately cheese is not something that you can eat so much of that it starts to affect your the way you're breathing. But I'd say I probably had to lay off things that expand. Bread, rice, pasta, stuff like that.
Yeah.
How can you show your face in here? Now you know how it feels to be deceived by your sister.
Will you give yourself to me now?
I desire nothing more.
What would you have me do?
Hide.
Can I trust her?
These are dangerous times. The failure to provide a male heir has weakened the king's power.
Soon the truth will be out, but I cannot bear children.
You witch. You cursed, evil witch. I have torn this country apart for you!
You're my only hope. My life depends on it.
Why are you here for her?
Because she's my sister.